Yes. So good to go. I'm letting them in. Tori, you can take lead.
Sounds good, man. Hit me up on WhatsApp. I'm ready. Good to see all of you here. We're looking forward to starting. This is obviously, as you know, this is our first presentation of the Circular Economy conference online, which is going to be an amazing opportunity for us to try and do a conference online. I've done a few. I don't know how many of you have done a few of these conferences online, but I'm looking forward to it. We know we have about 100 people who are coming through, so we're going to take a moment to allow everyone to walk in, and I'll be your moderator today. My name is Tony Dongo. Those of you who have your videos on, very nice. Those of you who do not, that's perfectly fine. What I'm going to be doing for the next 2.5 hours is getting us through our presentations, getting us to our speakers, and we'll be making sure that if anyone has any questions, concerns, or interests during, before, or after the breakout, we can be able to have a chat about that as well. I'm looking forward to this. And feel free to also put your words in the chat if you have something you want to say, if you're having technology problems, if anything is a challenge. Let's have a chat. But we have some really good speakers today. I'm looking forward to making sure that this comes out really well. We're very impressed to have various individuals from different parts of the world. We thank you so much for making the time to come to this conversation. I think we've all seen what's been going on with COVID. And so being safe is critical. And we encourage you to wear your masks when you're out in public and social distance as well. But in the meantime, I'm going to start with the presentation that we've been putting up for you. I'm going to share my screen and start the presentation. Then after that, we can get down to business. But thank you so much for coming. We look forward to having you the entire conference. And if you have any questions, concerns, or interests, please give us a shout again in the chat. You can even use it now to say hi. It's good to see a lot of people I know. But yeah, let's just jump right in and see how this goes. Welcome to the 2020 Online Circular Economy Conference. I'm going to do my presentation share and we could begin.
Yes, I would. It's now public knowledge. I was opposed to the significant increase in our presence. Containers, the Republican who voted for President Trump in 2016, Gary Law.
Vice President Biden, Chief Chassis is located in Berwick, Pennsylvania, where we produce intermodal container chassis. We're a small family-owned business that is facing unfair trade container chassis imports from what we'll call a massive state-owned entity in China. The products are currently under Section 301, but the Chinese have found a way to undermine the relief of
There you go. So those are two critical books I think everyone needs to read. Thanks so much for watching that. I think the conversation is so clear. Over the last couple of months when we've been going through what we've been going through with COVID, we all know the struggles we have faced staying at home, but we've also seen how the rest of the world has gotten a chance to breathe. I mean, when you're having pollution reducing in the whole continent of Africa by 62%, in places like India and the States, it's gone down by 45 or so percent. When you're seeing how much more the world is getting to breathe when we have been locked in, it goes to show how much of an impact we have on our planet. Just 3 months, and we've been able to see really meaningful change globally in environment. And that's what we're trying to now do, but intentionally, not because it's a pandemic, but intentionally. And that's what this conversation is going to be about. We want to start a conversation about seeing where we can go with intention, not just luck, but intention. And that's the reason why we host the Circular Economy Virtual Conference, is because we're trying to figure out how can we use things, single-use plastic. Now, this is the biggest problem. Now, we're putting out about 60 tons of gloves and masks every month around the country. So that's a lot of 60 tons. That's a lot of weight to be throwing away because of what we need to do to keep safe. And this conversation is going to be about that. Appreciating very much what's happening in the country so far with the plastics, but then we need to do more, and we want to know what those conversations are about. So we're going to start with introducing our guests. It's so nice to have all over here His Excellency, the Ambassador Martin Brouwer from the Netherlands. He's the Ambassador to Kenya. You also have Ambassador Simon Mordieu, the EU Ambassador to Kenya is here as well. Ms. Caroline Karoga, CEO of KEPSA. It's very nice to see you as well. Dr. Chris Kekipto, Principal Secretary of the Ministry of Environment and Forestry. Giuliani, good friend of mine and a fabulous Kenyan artist who's been speaking about so much of what's going on in the world. He also started something, and I can't wait to see how it grows. I know it's going to go somewhere, Giuliani. I can see your faith in it. And Dr. Francis Owino is Principal Secretary of the State of Department for Industrialization, who are all going to be in this meeting. So I'm looking forward to this. But before we go too far and we start the conversation, I'd like to welcome Karin Boomsma, who's always been behind this. And she's the voice that has brought this event together. She's the person who's been putting this up for the last 5 or 6 years or so. Karen, remind me if I'm wrong. I think we've been doing this for 6 years now. And I want to hear what you have to say in terms of a vision. Where do you see this going? What's the story? And just take us from here and tell us what the future holds if everything works out. Karen.
I can't unmute me. Yes, thank you very much. Welcome, everybody. This is indeed our first annual conference that we do online. It's a very strange situation. I was happy to notice the same kind of excitement. It's unfortunate that we can't be together, live and have a full day or day and a half to discuss those kind of things and meet each other. But we're very grateful that everyone could join online. So this crisis has made it abundantly clear that we need to change our old system and create a new and a better one. And we believe that already for some time, that the circular economy could be a very good model to do so, to achieve that. And what we have to be careful about is that we don't want to pick and paste items out of a circular economy model, but really apply a complete change and be all in. So we need a new collective conscious, we need a new belief system, and we need to make sure that we can thrive, not grow together. And that requires to be bold, it requires to be strong, it requires to be positive, and it requires to be innovative. So we need to really dare to create new values and build a resilient foundation and build back better. Just a very brief reflection. Like, we find it as human beings very hard to change because we say that's our current system. But imagine that we only invented the steam engine 300 years ago, and we only actually started using it 200 years ago. And we have invented plastics 60 years ago. And yet all those two ingredients are key ingredients in the economy we're running. And it's quite a linear economy. But the great thing about it is that if we created those systems, we can also create new ones. It's not that we're fixed. And what a nice expression is made by Buddha is that what we think we become, and what we feel we attract, and what we can imagine we can create. And that's, I think, a powerful human skill that makes us different from other mammals. So we should use it for the better. We are part of nature, and we realize that today more than ever before. If we pollute our water, our food will also be contaminated. If we lose our resources and biodiversity, we will have droughts and floods. So we need to create a new system, and it requires a change of mindset and to transform businesses and communities. And sustainable and inclusive business is supporting exactly that. So we motivate people to rethink, to reconnect, and to understand that, for instance, waste is just another material, but it ended up in the wrong place with the wrong label. And then we challenge businesses and governments to change our current economic value set. Because if we are able to create a new input out of an output. So waste can become a briquette and can replace charcoal. But we won't be helped if we invest in those startups and we don't change the price of a tree. So as long as our tree is cheaper than the price of an alternative to charcoal, it's not going to help. So this transition won't be fast, it won't be easy, but with willingness we come a long way. And I'm very positive as we are hosted by Kepsa, who believes in a new and better economy and who likes to champion the circular economy in Kenya with the private sector. We are supported by the Dutch government that likes to only see sustainable trade and has the ambition to become circular by 2050. And I'm excited about the great examples. We have amazing inspiration from all different corners, innovations, we have art, we have food, we have science, we have movements, we have entrepreneurs, we have country representatives, we have government visions. And they're all together here this morning in a virtual room. So that's a great start of our journey together. All topics we will touch upon will get more dedicated attention in a webinar series, so that will come after. And for now, let's start, enjoy and shift, and let's welcome our host, our private sector circular economy champion, CEO Carol Karuga. Asante.
Just a moment. Good morning, good morning, everyone. It's good to see many joining us, though virtually for the first time. Let me first begin by recognizing Dr. Chris Kiptor, the Principal Secretary of the Ministry of Forestry and Environment, who's been a very good friend for many days, even when he was in trade. And then also recognize Dr. Francis Owino, who I work very closely with, and is the Principal Secretary at the State Department of Industrialization. His Excellency Ambassador Martin Broer, Netherlands Ambassador to Kenya, thank you so much for your continued support to us as we have continued to implement this knowledge center around environment. And Ambassador Simon Modu, EU Ambassador in Kenya, again, thank you very much for your continued partnership and engagement for a long time, especially since you joined us sometime last year. You've really wanted to engage with the private sector, and we are very grateful. And to all the partners and the private sector, distinguished guests and ladies and gentlemen, karibuni sana. And as Catherine has said, this is an interesting time when we have to meet online for our usual yearly conference. But without that, I mean, we are glad that we can still do that and continue with this agenda. So while the circumstances presented by COVID does not allow us to have the usual gathering, I'm so glad to see that adoption of technology as a way of bringing great minds together as as we continue to do this agenda. As an institution, we continue to observe increased interest both by government and the private sector to manage the country's limited resources by maximizing on use and creating value from what is normally considered as waste. This is the concept of circularity, where waste is used as an input for production, something that many of us have not seen as something we do. So we take our waste and we throw it away, and we hope it goes away instead of thinking of how really we can turn it into production and how someone else can use to produce something else. Kenya as a country has made a mark internationally. We are known for our creativity and resilience. Beyond those two, we are amongst a few countries in the continent with established regulatory frameworks and policies that embrace circularity. These policies provide a great path for the private sector to drive change, more so in the adoption of sustainable business practices, as well as finding solutions amidst enormous challenges. Who would have ever thought that we can make furniture from hyacinth? Better yet, electricity poles from plastic. You know, hyacinth has been seen as something that came to destroy our lakes. And instead of that, we can turn it around and make furniture. And so that our waters are clean, but also and our fish can continue to breathe. And again, also electricity poles. We've cut our forests before to make electricity poles, but now we can use plastic. So something to consider as we move forward. The National Sustainable Waste and e-waste management policies have contributed a great deal to the growth of circular economy in Kenya. I'm a firm believer of the cradle to cradle model, where everything is a resource for regenerating another product. From green manufacturing, sustainable water use, regenerative agriculture, construction to tourism, industries must work together to close the loop by promoting and embracing the redesigning of products. The establishment of a Kenyan Plastic Pact to support the country to achieve its targets in the reduction of waste disposed of in landfills is really welcome. Ladies and gentlemen, as we pursue green economic growth, we must not forget to create sustainable opportunities for Kenyans. The private sector has a collective role in driving initiatives that trigger the adoption of sustainable business practices and increase awareness on the circular economy and its extensive benefits. Unlike the linear model, circularity has the potential to create more employment opportunities, and nothing can beat anything that we talk about employment, like in Kenya, where we really must grow employment in all ways and not only look at the lines and the opportunities that we've had before. It's time to create new ways, new opportunities for employment as the young people leave school. We recently launched as a part of our project at KEPSA and Sustainable Inclusive Business that is run by Catherine, the Coast Project in Mombasa County. This project seeks to provide alternative sources of livelihood for women and youth in low-income areas. Our aim is to increase the separation of waste at source through behavior change communication, provide training on business skills, and integrate the informal waste pickers into the waste management value chain. Mombasa County sees the private sector as a key player in the management of waste by introducing innovations in addition to the injection of capital to bridge the existing financial gap. We anticipate that this pilot will be scaled to different counties. We must create a local economy that thrives on value creation. I'm convinced that this will reduce imports while at the same time increasing Kenya's export capacity. There's no reason why SGR should be coming full from Mombasa to the rest of the country and going back empty and taking back the containers empty, because we pay for it and we're not increasing jobs. We're actually exporting jobs the more we import. Furthermore, I call on the private sector to evaluate investment opportunities that are in line with the circular economy concept with a view of maximizing the limited resources in Kenya. These, ladies and gentlemen, will go a long way, not only towards environmental protection, but also in strengthening our social safety nets, especially during such uncertain times we live in. We continue to co-chair the Kenya National Platform on Partnering for Green Growth and Global Goals, P4G, and Partnership for New Plastic Economy in Kenya, aiming to reduce plastic waste through a circular model for recycling of PET bottles. We continue to spearhead transformative public-private partnerships that are providing market-based solutions for realizing sustainable development goals. Through these initiatives, KEPSA is similarly keen on complementing Kenya's Vision 2030 on sustainable growth based on the economic and social pillars. These strides have been possible by the strong collaborations between various stakeholders, both in the public and private sectors. We look forward to our continued partnerships that pave way for job creation, creating an enabling environment for business to operate, as well as conservation of the environment. And so with these few remarks, I want to thank all of you for being part of this preview webinar that I hope this will spark a conversation on the need to form a nexus between different sectors within the context of adopting circular economy approaches, and to thank the ambassadors who are here present. And we look forward to working with you closely on this agenda, and for government, who have been a key partner for us in many different sectors, but also in this environment sector. We really, really want to say thank you, and we look forward to continue to partner with you. For the private sector, the companies, Coke and others who have really, really been champions of the PET bottles recycling and other areas of recycling, we really want to just appreciate all of you and say thank you, and can we continue to work together. Thank you so much, and look forward to the rest of the program.
Excellent, Carol. That's fantastic. So nice to hear from you. Nice to see what you've got up there. And there's a lot of, well, as you've said it yourself, there's a lot that has changed in the world, and a lot of people are understanding with a new and so we need to figure out how to make something different happen. All right, thank you so much for that. Karen, I'm inviting you to invite our speakers.
Sorry, I lost you a little bit. There was a bit of a connection. Yeah, thank you very much. I would like to actually start with a speaker that does speak in a different way. So I like to share with you Giuliani and Giuliani's statement. So maybe you can show us a musical voice first, and then we will listen to him before we announce the rest of the speakers.
Tusimame tuwasimamie economics and the politics in the mix, and the mix kind of vex, cause the issue's complex. Simply, I'm standing up and shouting out for the elephants. This coward's killing them, killing us along with them. Who's the real beast? The one that run the wild, or the one that make the world wild? Who's the real beast? The most elegant telephone, I'm upset when I said I had to make it. Old head, that's the again. Big and stop the
Giuliani, you have to love how he does his art. That's fantastic. He's here with us, and so definitely. Oh, wait, there he is. He's here with us, and so definitely looking forward to hearing what he has to say. And go ahead, Giuliani. Tell us what the story is and what inspired you to do this, and tell us about your experience with working with sustainability and the environment and nature. Talk to us, bro.
Niaje wa Kenya wenzangu kutoka mbali. My name is Giuliani. I'm a hip hop artist, and I really have a passion for community and people as a whole. And I'm really thankful to be here, to be invited to speak, to share my thoughts. Maybe a little bit about myself in detail. I grew up in the Eastlands part of Nairobi. It's called Dandora, and Dandora, of course, was known for the wrong reasons. One of them being 2 tons of trash end up there every day, and I think it has extended to more. We're known for crime, but at least it has reduced nowadays. We're known for a lot of things for the wrong reasons, but that's where I called home when I was growing up as a young man. And we had different ways we were being told. For us to get out of that situation, there are different things we were being told to do. Either you go to school and become number one. Okay, I never made it to become number one, but the people that became number one, nothing came out of it when we saw their life and how everything went out. They became number one and get back and got good grades and got back home. We were told you have to be good in sports. And same people went, sportsmen went to Norway, they came home with tracksuits and looking good through Maisa. And after a while, they end up in the same place that we were in. And as I was growing old, I was being told, oh, for you to be heard or to be seen, you have to behave a certain way. You have to always carry yourself a certain way. And the people that we saw carrying themselves that way ended up the same place that we are in. And of course, the more I'm exposed to the world, IMF comes and tells us that I need $1. Like I'm living in poverty because we're living under the dollar. And in $1, it basically is like, right now it's like 112 shillings or something. And 112 shillings can do a lot in $1 specifically. You can eat in a day, you can get a lot of things done. So basically what I'm trying to get at is that I started questioning my definition of things. So definition of where you've called a slum or an insecure place, I call it home. when you go to Kilimani and you look at all the high rises and you see clothes line filled with clothes and everybody just, of course, putting their clothes outside. In another setting, people say that's ushamba, for lack of, I don't know the right English word for that. Or they say it is being unkept or ghettoness or whatever. But if you look at the context of Kenya, specifically, or Africa, it's easier for you to put your clothes outside because it will dry faster than having a dry in the house. Because a dry in the house consumes electricity, so you get it. So we were always forced to behave a certain way as a people. And I feel like we always see ourselves from other people's eyes. We never see ourselves from our eyes and where we come from and what we have. And I'll give an example about when there's some time back, I traveled to Norway. It was a December and it was so cold. Of course, I took the heaviest jacket I could from Kenya to there and it didn't do nothing. So I kind of got lost from where I was going and I was asking people for direction and nobody actually, even some people, actually nobody stopped to even give me direction and people acted a certain way. And back then I didn't know what was happening. Until one old man actually was speaking Swahili and he gave me direction and I found myself where I was. And I felt so lonely when I was in Norway for like a week or two. And then when I got home, and in Norway, everything was, the train came on time, everything was exactly where it's supposed to be. And then I came back in Nairobi and I was driving from the airport to home. And then I realized that I actually like the chaos. Like I like people everywhere. I like the matatus. I like everything. And I'm like, what's up? The
traffic jam on Mombasa Road.
The traffic on somehow it made sense and I really loved it. And I was like, wait a minute. I'm being told all my life that I'm supposed to be like this, to be civilized or to be ahead or to be globalized, or everybody's always telling us as African what we need to be. And I'm not saying the chaos is what exactly is supposed to be, but what came to mind at that particular time, and I maybe as an artist, creativity basically is not creating anything new. Creativity is taking the old to create something new or to create a new product. And I felt like as Africans and as Kenyans, and COVID helped us present this case where we expected people to be dropping dead like flies on the streets. And what we saw mostly is people hugging and actually being happy that finally they're in the streets. The kids are so happy they're playing football with their friends and everything. And we never died the way we were expected to die. And I was like, how are we looking at ourselves every time as Africans when we go to a space or we come to a table like this? Do we see ourselves from the people's eyes? Do we see ourselves from our own eyes? And do we see solutions from what we have, not from what we don't have or the standards that we're trying to do? So even democracy in itself, and allow me to go a little bit philosophical around this. Democracy, we were told that this is how to be democratic and this is how to be all this and this is how to be. And then when you watch on TV, we see another word that we've been shown through Hollywood and how it looks dismantling in our face. And I'm not saying everybody has their own problems. I'm not saying that we should be perfect, but I'm just saying that the West and everybody in the first world, the way they call themselves, went ahead and we see what didn't work and we see what can work. So it's up to us as Africans basically to sit down and say, what do we have? What can we use as lessons from those people? And how can we leapfrog? Because we are the only ones who have the possibility of leapfrogging, because we are not, everything is not rigid. Our M-Pesa you can create a business in Kenya and it succeeds, as long as you go and hawk it in the streets and stuff like that. But in another setting, you have to go through certain bureaucracies and stuff like that. We are the only ones who can create new cities and even have necessary. So we can as I do this, is that I feel like for our intervention and how we're going to engage in moving forward and creating this circular economy and everything we want, we first have to be people-centered. And we have to realize that the definition we have of change is not the same definition that Amamamboga have of change, me as Juliani have of change, or Katrine has of change. Probably for me, just having a house and a backyard and a white dog to papasa every day, that's change for me. And that's all I need. To somebody else, it can be going up the mountain, Mount Kilimanjaro or something, and coming back. For them, that's what, and some people basically is political. So we can't leave anybody behind. We have to work with everybody. And we have to understand that we're all different and we all come from different backgrounds. So we have to be people-centered. And the second thing is basically, we don't have monopoly of truth. And this I've learned as a young Kenyan and as an artist and as somebody who was community projects. When we were setting up my community projects in Dandora, I always thought, since I grew up in that setting, but coming out from outside and I left, and now coming back to help, to be a savior, in quotes, I realized that these people are more equipped. They know all this. The only thing they need is space for them to become and to do stuff and to belong. So we don't have a monopoly of truth. Just because you're ahead or you went ahead doesn't mean, just because I'm slow in class and did get the grades right, it doesn't mean that I'm not a bright person. I have trauma on that, so allow me to share that. And the last thing for me is we have to be aware of our mortality. And I feel like all our solutions have always been about immediate solutions and based on our governments. Our governments are all structured around 5 years and 5 years and 5 years. So everything we always look in the turnaround of 5 years. And I feel like, and this is my personal conviction basically, is that for me, I have to look at the world beyond my existence. And it means after I die, and it doesn't have to be all because of my kids and I want to live a better world for my kids. No, it's just, I need to create a world and to be patient enough with people, with myself and the world around me to build something that will live beyond. And that's what, of course, the first world has done so far. Or you can see in the infrastructure and how they've done things. They thought ahead. So I think that Africans, we need to be aware of mortality and use that as a basis to create the future. Basically, to finish off this, we're in a group, we are trying to figure out the scenarios of 20 years from now, Kenya. Sitting down and trying to figure out, and looking at, how will security look like? How will health look like? How will all this look like? And then I realized that every time we talk about the future, we always use, we don't tap into the traditional way of how we used to do things as Africans. And I'm not saying how everybody's doing things right now doesn't work. There's some that work, but traditionally, our medicine came from shamba. Our food came from shamba. We didn't need a fridge. We didn't need a fridge to be in the house to eat fresh food. We just need to go to a backyard, pluck a few things, and come back and cook. We lived in a sustainable way, but we got to a place where we didn't have self-esteem around what we had as a people. So we have to be creative, basically use what has worked for other people, take pieces of what can work for us with what we have in our hands and create the future that we all want and all are looking forward for our children and for ourselves. Okay, I'm not supposed to say for our children, but for us to reimagine that future, we have to start from where we are and we have to meet people from where they are. We can't always see people from our point of view. And kama ina make sense kizungu yangu Tony Ndungu, nashukuru sana. And nashukuru sana for Wazito that I get to share my thoughts on this forum. Asante na Mungu awabariki. And finally, we have a project called Taka Bank. It's a waste management program, and it's one of the, when we started it some years ago, I got invited by Facebook to go and speak. And Tommy know about it in New York. And we had a meeting with Diangelo, Coke, Walmart, all these guys were there. It was so funny how it was easy for people from outside to understand what needs to be done than the people who are inside the country. Our old people and our leaders and the people that we look up to only focus on Mogonda, as a way of investment, and literally not trusting and holding the young people's hands to move forward. So that's just a challenge for everybody, because I know people have so much to share. If I sit down with Caro, I can get a lot to share. I can pronounce the name. I can't pronounce the names of all the other guys who are there, the ambassador and you. So I'm sorry. Let me just say, all you people who, is that you have so much to share to us. You have gone through generations and you see what works and doesn't work. It's high time we hold hands. Sometimes you just need to hold hands, and your pockets also, but we need to hold hands and we need to move forward and to create and take risks and try until we figure out something out. So nashukuru sana, Mungu awabariki.
Thank you, Juliani, man. I appreciate that. I really like what you talked about with our mortality, thinking ourselves, coming up with our own solutions, and working with what we have to take us where we need to go. Chris Otieno is like, he finds it profound the way you've talked about using our mortality to create our future. It's true. We're doing this for ourselves, not just our kids. We're not doing it for ourselves. It's not for other people, it's for us. I appreciate that very much, Julian. It's nice to have you on. Karen, you want to introduce our next honored speaker as we go forward?
Thank you very much. Yeah, I'm really happy that Juliana shared his thoughts. I think it's very, 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 very relevant, because that's all about mindset and mind change. And you can't do that with the ways we've created what we are having now. So we need to dare, we need to be open-minded, and we need to listen. And we also need to change the labels we paste on things. For one, it's waste. For the other one, it's a material. For one, this is a dump site. For the other one, it's a home. So I think we really need to realize that. And we also, the mortality is very relevant as well, because the same rules apply to us if you talk about conservation and extinction. We probably are the next to be extinct if we keep on doing what we're doing. So we're just part of nature, we're part of evolution. And I think he highlighted that really well. And I think an open mind and create new ways to figure out what's the better solution. That's the way we need to go. I would like to invite a very good friend, and he's always saying sister, which is nice, the Ministry of Environment, Director for Education and Awareness, Dr. Ayub Macharia, to speak to us on behalf of the Ministry of Environment and Forestry. Dr. Macharia, are you in the room?
I had seen him.
Dr. Macharia, if he is trying to log in or to, then we can, I would like to actually then invite the Ministry of, actually the State Department for Industrialization. Oh,
Ayub is there.
there.
There's Dr. Macharia.
I'm in the room.
Ah, great. Karibu.
Only that I'm not in my office. I'm not in my usual office.
And no one is. So you can just speak to us from wherever you are.
I'm at Kefri. I had to get out and talk to you from some strategic place.
Would you like me to invite Dr. Owino first?
Maybe so that I have to shift from where I am.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we will invite Dr. Owino, Principal Secretary, State Department for Industrialization, to speak to us today. Is Dr. Owino in our room, in our event? Tony?
I'm looking for him.
And alternatively, we can start with the ambassador, EU ambassador to Kenya, Ambassador Simon Modu.
Hi, good morning, everybody. I'm delighted to join you. Resources in many ways are a bit like time. There are only 24 hours in the day and 60 minutes in each hour, and they're finite. And if we don't approach resources in the same way, making sure we cherish our resources, use them in the most profitable manner in a way that can benefit not only us, but the future generations, we will still have huge challenges and we will do an enormous amount of damage. I wanted to start perhaps a few short reflections with an issue that has affected all of us, and the global pandemic. We can see its detrimental impact across society, across the sectors of the economy. We see it globally, and we also see it very well in Kenya. Julian was speaking very much about his experiences of living in the informal settlements, and these are areas that have been profoundly affected by COVID-19, and I'm delighted that we've been able to work with a bit of imagination doing M-Pesa cash transfers to some 80,000 vulnerable individuals on a weekly basis. Now, while the governments around the world will now seek to spend around 10 trillion euro only in the next 2 years to kickstart the economies, I think we have to bear in mind that this money will be borrowed effectively from future generations. Why do I say that? It's not to make a commentary on the IMF. On the contrary, it's what I think is hugely important here. It's critically important that we now make the right investments that will allow us to build back better. And it's in this context that actually I think COVID gives an additional impulse to the circular economy. And what we've been looking to do in the European Union is we've been looking to come with what we're calling a green recovery, a recovery that doesn't undercut the foundations of our sustainable growth, but rather fully supports the objectives in the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development, the Paris Climate Agreement, and the biodiversity goals. In other words, when rebuilding our economies, let's not waste money on obsolete and harmful technologies, but let's support greener, carbon neutral and circular solutions. Now, we had one advantage perhaps in the EU, that we'd started this conversation very, very much before the first wave of COVID hit us. When the new European Commission took office in 2019, their overriding priority, I would even say their flagship initiative, was to come up with a growth strategy under the name of the European Green Deal. And what we're looking to achieve is basically 3 objectives. Number 1, we want the European Union, we want Europe to become a climate neutral economy by 2050. 2, we want to cut pollution to protect the humans and the environment. 3, we want to help companies become leaders in clean technologies and products. And 4, we want to ensure a fully just transition. We want to work with our partners globally, in particular the development partners, and support them for this transformation, support them for the fantastic opportunities that particularly in an innovative, dynamic country like Kenya exist. Now, what we see is that the Green Deal cuts across a wide range of policies. It's about energy, it's about transport, it's about manufacturing, agriculture and trade. And it's mobilizing everything we've got, from use of regulations, standards, cleverly designed policies, but also fiscal tools, taxation policy. It's about education of young people. It's about research, diplomacy, and last but certainly not least, it's about investments. And we're envisaging on the EU side, a total investment to implement the Green Deal will be around €1 trillion. Now, coming back to where I started, with the Green Deal, the European Union has found itself, to a certain extent, ready with a blueprint for a green recovery plan. Now, what I think COVID means is that we now need to be determined to move even faster, even more decisively, and use the opportunity of large-scale public investments in our future and for our future while we recover from the COVID-19 crisis. And circularity and the role of the circular economy is hugely important in this. I'm not going to go into this in great detail, because I know you're going to do a deep dive on this by the organizer. You've done a deep dive on this, sorry, at the beginning of the webinar, and there'll be the breakout sessions later on. But one for us of the absolute key pillars of the European Green Deal is the Circular Economy Action Plan. For those of you who haven't seen it, and for those of you who are reflecting a tiny bit, what are the kind of actions we could do in Kenya? Have a look at this. I'm not saying it's directly transferable, but it lists 35 actions which all basically aim to make sustainable products the norm in the EU and to ensure less waste. In other words, let's read, less resources and money being wasted. And we're looking at a whole series of different areas in the product value chain, from electronics and ICT to batteries and vehicles to packaging to the use of plastics, textiles, the way in which we construct buildings, food, water, nutrients. I think one of the most important features of this action plan is it attempts to empower consumers and public buyers so that they make well-informed choices that will result, I think, as well in an increased durability and recyclability of products. Now, the external dimension, again, plays a huge role here. We have on our side been in intensive discussions with CS Environment, the PS in Environment, CS Minor in her new job and function. And what I think we've jointly realized and jointly promote is the notion that a green transition in a globalized economy will only succeed if it's global, otherwise it won't work. It has the same rationale for the world as it has for the Europeans, both in terms of overcoming the detrimental climate and environmental benefit barriers to ensure the benefits for a broad segment of the population. We need global solidarity, open and fair trade, a rules-based order, multilateralism. All of these are crucial to avoid lapsing into, frankly, what I would describe as rather lazy fossil fuel and resource intensive recovery. Now, what can we do? We're going to try and convince our partners to form a global alliance on circular economy and resource efficiency. On our side as the European Union, we're fully committed to, and we will strive to achieve a global agreement on plastics to stop the plastic pollution and the wasteful approach to plastics. Here, I think the world has an enormous amount it can learn from Kenya. And we will also seek to promote free trade agreements that promote and reflect the objectives of the circular economy. On the development cooperation front, we're currently in the phase of designing our development cooperation for the new budgetary period of the European Union that begins on the 1st of January 2021 to 2027. And we will have this process driven by the Green Deal and the Green Recovery priorities. So this will be a huge priority for us in our cooperation with Kenya moving forward. And I'm really delighted to witness that in our discussions with our partner countries, but in particular Kenya, we've got a really good alignment of our respective priorities. And alongside the green transition, we're wanting to also support digitalization, which can be a driver as well of this green transition. And this resonates as well, really well with the African Green Recovery Stimulus, which is being prepared under AMSEN. We're looking as well to organise a high-level visit of the European Union Commissioner for Environment, and we thank here the Honourable C.S. Tobiko for his standing invitation, because the idea is for the Commissioner to come along with representatives, senior representatives of the EU business community, to discuss with our Kenyan counterparts about the opportunities to strengthen our political alliance, but also our practical alliance at an individual company level to really drive concrete business ties that can promote this. Now, the pandemic has somewhat delayed these plans, but we're hoping that we can have this mission take place in early next year. So a hugely exciting moment. I'm delighted that the Sustainable Inclusive Business, the Knowledge Centre in Kenya, KEPSA, and of course with the support of Team Europe through the Kingdom of Netherlands have launched this conference today, this webinar. It's a great opportunity for us to do everything we can to ensure that also for the future generations, there will be a greener, climate-friendly world with a circular economy at the heart of this. Thank you very much.
Wow, Simon, that's fantastic. I just want to take a moment to just break something down. So I'm not very far from where I live, but can you see my background? I don't know if all of us are stuck at home. Look at my back. Can you see? Can you see that? Can you see what's in the background over there? You see?
I don't see it on my screen, but maybe I've...
Don't see it? Let me just...
Ah, yes, got you.
You see? This is kind of what we're trying to do, no?
Exactly.
My house is 20 minutes that way and I live right next to Junction. And this is something that we have never seen in the hood. We drive down Gong Road, turn left, go to Jamhuri. This is supposed to be about 60 kilometers away. But because there's so many people who've been at home, these wild animals are coming into the estate. They're coming into the streets. They're coming into places where people live, and no one's going anywhere per se. So people kind of leave them alone. But this hasn't happened. I've been told by the guards who are down the street. This hasn't happened for as long as they've been here, and they've been here 27 years. They've never seen impala, which I think these are, come all the way this way. And that's what sustainability does. That's what being able to share the world and what you've mentioned does. And I was checking up on what you talked about because I'd seen online about the Actions for Sustainable Europe, a tweet I'd seen a while back, and I'd opened it to read it. And there's Prosperity 2030, they've listed out, as you've said, 8 little points. There's well-being for 2030, they've listed out another 8 points. There's peace and security, listed out some points, there are 5 of them, and then governance 2030. And $10 trillion euro is almost $13 trillion. And that's what we're going to be using over the next 2 years to get back what we've just lost in the last one. So it's, as you said, Simon, an opportunity for us to do so much. And I'm very grateful, Mr. Modo, for that, Ambassador Modo. We appreciate your conversation. We thank you so much for your time. And I don't know if Dr. Mashari is ready to speak now, so we can have him.
Sorry, Tony, we will have the Dutch ambassador to Kenya first, because he has also other engagements.
Fantastic. Karen, please go ahead and invite him.
Yes, we're very honored actually, because we have a new ambassador, and we hope the new ambassador will, but I think he will, support our initiative and our circular ambitions as much as the previous ambassador, Frans Makke. So I'd like to introduce Ambassador Maarten Brouwer, our new ambassador to Kenya. We're really excited to have him straight in this conference. He's almost his first day, so that's great. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Karen. You can hear me? Yes. Thank you for the opportunity, really, to be part of this this conference. It's a subject that I carry at heart, and it's for me to participate in this webinar and to present some thoughts on opportunities that transition to a circular economy can offer. It's great to be part of that, and it's an honor to me. Let me start to express my sincere thanks to SIB for organizing this event. Being co-founded by CSR Netherlands, the SIB is now one of our partners working on sustainable and inclusive business. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we believe that an inclusive circular economy has to be an important, if not the main solution to the environmental and social challenges we face today. And because of this strong conviction, the Netherlands is reaching out to partners around the globe to join hands. Transition to a circular economy, we have to do together. And this applies definitely to Kenya, with which country we share solid trade relations. For Kenya, the Netherlands is the largest trading partner in the EU. Therefore, we cooperate in many value chains, particularly those for flowers and horticultural products. We appreciate Kenya for taking such an advanced and forward-looking role as it does in reducing plastic waste, for instance. It's a daring show of transition to the circular economy. We are happy to be part of this journey, supporting initiatives such as the Producer Responsibility Organization by CAM, the Kenyan Associations of Manufacturers, and sharing lessons learned on legislation for waste management with the Ministry of Environment and Forestry. A shift towards a circular economy is the way forward and necessary for achieving Sustainable Development Goal number 12, which is all about responsible consumption and production, as well as the ambitious climate target of the Paris Agreement. These are shared policies objectives by many countries in the world and by Kenya and the Netherlands. And Dutch support to the circular economy movement is a concrete example of joining hands. However, it is more than just a show of cooperation. It is working together in partnerships on an equal basis, exchanging knowledge, innovations, experiences, and experiments that are so exemplary for this type of partnership. That is what we also want to do across the globe. Just diving into it, learn by doing, share examples, and inspire each other, and making ambitions happen. In essence, that is what circular economy needs at this stage, and we see Kenya as a partner in this endeavor, exchanging knowledge and experience to accelerate the transition together and achieve our mutual shared goals. We need partnerships around circular economy to achieve our own goals. The Netherlands has set a goal to be 100% circular by 2050 and 50% circular by 2030. Therefore, we need to know and learn what works and what doesn't. I believe strongly that the partnership needs to be built on mutual interests. Working together in the field of circular economy is such a good example. A circular economy is the future. A circular economy will be more robust, cross-functional, and less dependent on natural resources. It can transform challenges, for instance, on waste into new business opportunities. We need more examples of residues becoming input for new production processes. For instance, in Kenya, there is already a flourishing refurbishing and recycle industry that can be optimized and therefore provide better and higher skilled jobs. Rethinking design of products and packaging also means cost saving, using less materials, energy, and water. And while we move to circular economy, the market for smart and efficient solutions will grow. Also the way we think the use of certain products, for instance, by sharing products such as cars and washing machines, or even simple tools we all want to have access to, but only use once in a while. By introducing new concepts like products as a service, we create new markets and revenues and keep materials much longer in circulation. The challenge for us all is to bring these practices to the next level, so that they can be turned into new opportunities for the economy, the environment, and the people. In recent years in the Netherlands, small-scale local initiatives have managed to convert organic waste into insect protein-derived fish feed. High-value materials such as textile, perfume, or chemicals, and local bioenergy supply. Used plastic and recovered cellulose from wastewater can even be used in road construction. Some initiatives may initially seem like small steps, but when scaled up, they contribute to circular transition. To create long-term positive impact and simultaneously benefits for the local economies, cooperation and partnership between different disciplines is key. Government, private sector, and knowledge institutions should have space to operate autonomously and at the same time work with each other. This will create an environment where different disciplines inspire each other, and it will boost creativity, innovation, and the creation of smart solutions. In the Netherlands, we adopted a culture of learning by doing. Fail fast and learn even faster, and of course, share experiences. However, there is a condition to this. Governments need to provide a solid legal framework that provides incentives and at the same time allows flexibility to let the private sector adapt and find solutions to occurring problems it encounters. The Plastic Action Plan developed by the Kenyan Association of Manufacturers on behalf of the private sector is a good example of providing clarity. We have to see whether the framework proves to be sufficiently flexible. In international cooperation, the private sector can help to advance in identifying suitable solutions. Dutch companies are willing to collaborate with private and public sectors in Kenya by sharing insights, experiences, and tools, for example, on circular agri-food, water and waste management, chemical recycling, and innovative packaging. To wind up, let me give a few examples of what was already established. For instance, the recirculating aquaculture system, which demonstrates at a fish farm in Kiambu. The technique was especially developed by Food Tech Africa partners. Vision, Holland Aqua, and Vicon for aquaculture in Africa. The fish farm system was launched under the name of Fish Hub. The demonstration fish farm in Kiambu features 50% lower feed cost, 20% higher survival rates, 99% water use reduction, and excellent control over water quality and temperature conditions. The system is called Fish Hub, is easily transportable, and can be easily mounted. But also in waste, the waste to energy. SNV, together with the Nakuro and sanitation company, ran a project to use wastewater sludge for the production of briquettes for cooking stoves and organic manure for farmers. An example of waste being a product of value to serve other value chains, a technique that is scalable. And another example, the Netherlands is supporting Close to the Gap, which is actually a Belgian company, and WEEE, Center for Refurbish, Use Computer and to Recycle Electronic Waste in a Responsible Way. Close the Gap and WEEE will be speaking about the business opportunities in rethinking and recycling electronic equipment in one of the mini workshops later on. I've also seen Green Wave Plastics in the program, owned by Mr. Bernard Max, who spoke at the PET seminar in Kenya 2 years ago. He is active in the field of recycling aquatic litter into new projects, for instance, with partners in the fishing industry in Denmark. In these examples, Dutch and European companies, knowledge institutes like TINO, which I think is also a participant in this seminar, and NGOs work together with Kenyan companies to develop and adapt innovative technologies to local conditions, create sustainable new business models, identify circular opportunities, support circular entrepreneurship, and exchange the best practices and lessons learned. So together, we can turn today's social and environmental challenges into tomorrow's economic opportunities. Let us seize this opportunity to collaborate. Let us make the circular shift together. Asante sana.
Thank you so much, Ambassador. That is fantastic. Asante, Wishukuru. It's nice to have you, and you're definitely starting on a good footing. And I see that you've gone to my hometown, Kiambu. So that's nice to see some stuff happening over there. We appreciate you very, very much. We'll be coming back to you for so much over the course of the next couple of years. And you sound exciting. You sound like you know what you're doing, and we're happy as Kenyan young people to be able to reach out to you. The projects we have, like what Julianne was mentioning earlier. Fabulous. Karen, Dr. Macharia? Nice. I would like to welcome Dr. Ayub Macharia. I think, Dr. Ari, you have found a nice, good, quiet spot to be able to speak.
Yes, I have.
Excellent. Karibu, give us your wise words, good sir.
I'm going to switch on my video.
All right.
Then I hope I'm visible now.
Yes, we are, Dr. Ari.
Okay. I'm representing my principal secretary, who is currently involved in. Today is the International Babu Day, and so he's busy with the cabinet secretary on marking that day. He would have wished to be in this meeting, and so he delegated me to read his remarks. And in the ministry, we are busy now changing our policies, our regulations, our laws, because of the new ideas that have come and which are very important. That is circular economy. And you realize that why we are going this way is because like in waste management, where we have already finalized the policy, our country has not been doing well on waste management. And so everywhere you go, there is a heap of waste somewhere, even in our residential areas. If you look at the trucks that carry the waste, they look quite, they don't look nice because they are old and not the type that we want for carrying of waste. And the waste itself is mixed. And even in our houses, we have mixed waste. And so for waste management, what we can say is that what we see is uncontrolled dumping all over the place, mixed waste, even at home. If you look at that waste, it is dirty. And that is why you find very many variables in our waste, even the dump sites. Why is that variable is there? It's because it is contaminated. So there is minimal value recovery from our waste. In some instances, we are running below 10% recovery of that waste, recycling, very minimal. And if you look at the requests by counties at the moment, because they are the ones who are mandated by the Constitution, Schedule 4 to move waste from our estates, the kind of requests that they make are for more trucks and even more land for dump sites. And this is not forthcoming because out there people do not want dump sites near their place, near their backyard. And so many counties have very tiny, very tiny waste management facilities. And then the areas where you have waste, we have the scavengers, we call them these good people who collect the valuables, whom we call the scavengers. Of course, a bad name because they help us to recycle the waste, they help us to recover the waste. And in most cases, those areas are insecure areas. And you also find our waste is burning. So there are a lot of greenhouse gases that are generated there, and the dump sites are normally on fire all the time. And then we have leachate, which is emanating from there, and a lot of land degradation. So you see there are a lot of problems. And so based on that, we have just finalized developing a policy on the same, and we were asking ourselves, what is it that we want? And we are being assisted by science, and science shows that in Kenya, the waste that we produce is 60% organic, and including food waste, and then 30% are recyclables, and then the others are 10%. And so you find that there is there is a lot that is valuable in our waste. Actually, even within the 10% others, you can still recover 5%. So only 5% of our waste should go to a dump site. And so we have mapped the future that we want, and the future that we are looking forward to is where there is a lot of reduction in waste generation, a lot of reuse of our waste, a lot of recycling, and very little, 5% actually disposal. So we already have the percentages of each type of waste, and we are familiar with where we want to go. And so we are against the business as usual. What is happening currently, we are not happy with it. And we would like to see a circular economy in place where we redesign our processes, we manufacture in a way that is, we manufacture things that can be recycled. We also make sure that we reuse, we repair. I mean, we extract maximum value from our waste. And only a small fraction should be incinerated or sent to the final disposal sanitary landfill. And so what we have done as a ministry is we now have a circular model in our policy. Actually, our policy has a diagram where we are really emphasizing on waste segregation at source, proper collection and transportation. We are also insisting that we want to have material recovery facilities where our waste will be further sorted, and then the valuables will be sold. Our waste should also be composted. So we will have composting facilities. We will expand our composting facilities. Currently, we don't have these composting facilities. The recent research that we have done with the Kenya Bureau of Standards shows that we have only 4 composting companies in Kenya, and those are very few. The ones that have compost to the end, that means they have a mark of quality from Kenya Bureau of Standards. They are only 4, and those are very few. We also want to do recycling so that the whole process is circular. We have also mapped our enablers for us to achieve circular economy. We need new institutional arrangements because, like, when you talk of a composting facility, a recycling facility, you know, you are talking of different kind of facilities that are some of which are new. We need financial mechanisms, a lot of capacity building, a lot of education and awareness, especially to make sure that we succeed at waste segregation at the local level. That is so critical to us. The informal sector, we have to encourage them. They are doing very good work. They are going to places where the elites cannot go to pick that waste and make sure that they handle it to present it to the recyclers. We have to do a lot of waste reporting and audit, starting from the facility level to the county to the national level, so that we use that data for decision making. We have to involve to address issues of gender, youth, and vulnerable groups. A lot of research and knowledge management with our institutions of higher learning, and a lot of collaboration and stakeholder participation. So what has motivated us to move this way is that the aspect of circular economy is actually a need now. It's not an alternative. We need it because we cannot continue wasting our valuable resources. And we are sure that we will continue to generate more waste. Our statistics show that everybody generates half a kilogram of waste every day. So whenever the population census is done, like now we are 47 million, then you need to divide that by 2, and that is the amount of waste that we generate every day. And that's a lot. And if we waste all that, then we are wasting resources. And we are also losing jobs, we are losing money, we are losing livelihoods, we are also losing innovation. And so we would like to keep materials circulating in a high value state through the supply chains as long as possible. And so the ministry is quite motivated to enter into this discussion on circular economy. And our motivation is communicated loudly by the kind of policies that we have developed. We have a sustainable waste management policy, and we have a sustainable waste management bill. These 2 documents are currently at cabinet level being discussed. They have already passed the committee stage, and now the documents are supposed to be tabled in the full cabinet. We also have other documents like the e-waste strategy, which is also circular, embraces circular philosophy. And we have a new regulation that is coming up, the extended producer responsibility regulations. This is a very important regulation because it advocates for every producer. In this case, a manufacturer, an importer, a distributor of a product, they are supposed to be responsible for their products, including packaging. And so once the regulation is in place, we are going to see many companies coming up, producer responsibility organizations, and these producer responsibility organizations manage specific wastes, and there will be a lot of jobs generated, a lot of investment in waste management, and definitely some of the discussions we have left to the private sector because of the diversity of products that we have. There will be a discussion about the life cycle analysis of their products, because that will determine also the pricing of the waste management when they engage the recyclers. And so if you bring into the country some product that is difficult to recycle, difficult to dismantle, difficult to process, then you pay more. And so so our discussion is, our emphasis is that we have to think, everybody has to think in a cyclic manner. This discussion about circular economy, we have already done it for waste management. We are taking it also to wastewater. There is a new initiative that we have mooted with the assistance of the World Bank, and we want to develop a policy also on wastewater circular economy, and also relook at our water quality regulations to make them circular. So when you look at what we are doing, we are guided by the elements such as designing for the future. Whatever we are doing, we want to design strong frameworks that will help this country to progress to the future without wasting resources. We want to preserve and extend what is already made. So let's not waste. We want to prioritize regenerative resources so that we make sure that our resources can be reused, recycled. We want to use waste as a resource. We want to rethink our business models. We want to promote more collaboration and creating joint value. So those are the elements that are guiding our shift in circular economy. So in other words, we are considering what we consider waste as an opportunity. A lot of public awareness, mindset change is one of the benchmarks towards our success. And so we would like to promote mindset change through public awareness, to think for everybody to think circular, where products are developed with their end of life in mind, so that they can be recycled or repurposed completely and with no residual waste. And as I said, we want collaboration. The waste we generate multiple types of waste. And so we need to collaborate with different recyclers, different players, so that our waste is handled in a better way. And in this case, therefore, an institution must adopt systems thinking in terms of the whole value chain of the kind of waste that they are generating. So that is what we have in our policy, and we have also mapped the benefits that we will get when we migrate to circular economy, and this will help us to reduce pressure on the environment, improve security of supply of raw materials. So we have our raw materials will be secure; they will not be wasted. Increase our competitiveness as a country. And our institutions. We will stimulate innovation, which we need very much. We will boost our economic growth and create jobs for our people. Right now, that waste that we have, we are wasting in our dam sites, those are jobs, that is money, and that is not good for us. So the way forward for the ministry is we would like to fast-track enactment and implementation of the already finalized policies. So we are pushing for the enactment as quickly as possible. We want to focus more on market development for valuable fractions extracted from waste. So we would like to see that there is market, so that we also stimulate the recovery of the valuables from the waste. We also want to engage in massive public awareness for behavior change, especially to succeed at the household level, segregation of waste so that we produce non-contaminated waste. We would like to focus also on development of how to handle the last 5%, which must be disposed in sanitary landfills. So the national government will engage in development of sanitary landfills, and we will do a lot of monitoring, evaluation, information sharing, and application of the lessons learned. So we are ready to learn from our experiences. So the government has started implementing this policy, and everything, our boardroom discussions are now reoriented towards a circular economy. Thank you very much.
Asante sana, Dr. Macharia. It is without a doubt, I think we have done a phenomenal job as Kenyans, being one of the first countries in the world to ban plastics. And that was a huge deal, plastic papers. That was a big one. And I know that, as Ambassador Simon had mentioned earlier, those are steps that other countries are also working towards following, and staying in front of the pack is important for us. So that's a really good sign. And I think, without a doubt, we have really stepped up on this campaign. Now we're looking forward to seeing more plastics banned. I usually have a bottle I carry around. So instead of buying, plastic bottles which are disposable, you just fill that bottle with water and carry that around, and that saves I think you said half a kilogram per person per day of garbage. So I think that's a lot. That's a lot of waste. So yes, definitely, it's worth a conversation. Karen, you and I are tag teaming on this one for sure. Your thoughts on what we've had so far, maybe before we go to the next speaker and then do breakout rooms?
Yes, we have so much planned out, and we have the digital online meeting kind of tool, the Mentimeter. We have plenty of questions. We have an introduction. We have videos on circular economy, but also don't have that much time. However, I would like to first, before we break out for the breakout sessions, if people can rename themselves in this group and choose the workshop you want to be in. It's just a very short conversation we will have in separate groups. So one is on waste. That will come if you put your name with a hyphen and a W. Then there is the e-waste, which is EWPL. So that we will do. But before we do that, we have quite a number of speakers still. I first like to invite the European Investment Bank Director, Catherine Collins. She wants to highlight a little bit on investments in green economy and circular economy and the initiatives they are currently running. And then we have a guest speaker, Ambassador Finland to Kenya, Erik Landberg. And then we have a few very brief highlights of good practices actually in construction, in water, and in regenerative agriculture. And then we have a special recipe for you to cook at home, a burger, but a vegetarian one, and you will get the circular story behind that. And then we dive into the workshop. So we will skip for now the digital meeting, the Mentimeter questions, and we will first meet Catherine Collins. Thank you very much for joining us. Before we also have a brief thoughts from the Ambassador of Finland.
Thank you, Karin. I hope you can see me and hear me.
Yes, we can. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you. And thank you so much. Good morning to everyone. Very happy to join this webinar, and also very happy to see many how the EU is strongly represented in the webinar, which is illustrate quite well the ambitions that Simon Mordew was explaining earlier on. I think on my side, so I'm heading the EIB regional representation here in Nairobi, covering East Africa. The EIB is the Bank of the European Union. Our owners are the 27 members of the European Union. And as such, our work is really to support EU policies in all what we do, both within the European Union, but also outside the European Union. And clearly, as mentioned, the Green Deal, circular economy are now at the center of our preoccupations. And I think what I would like, I will not go in extensively on what EIB does. We have quite a large portfolio here in Kenya. We've been here since the 70s. We have about 600 million euro of exposure at the moment, covering both infrastructure, one of them being the Lake Turkana wind farm project, which is our flagship project here in Kenya. We support also geothermal, solar, so very active in the energy sector, all renewable. Because you may know that EIB has actually decided not to support any fossil fuel investment starting from next year. So we have very ambitious targets. And the reason I wanted to speak to you as well is that regarding circular economy, I mean, EIB has done quite a lot already in the European Union. We're looking at opportunities outside the European Union and in Africa in particular. And we have launched 2 years ago the Clean Ocean Initiative, which is a joint initiative together with the Agence Française de Développement and the KfW of Germany, which is about mobilizing 2 billion euro of funding over a 5-year horizon to support initiative helping to clean the ocean. And it's so essentially about plastic pollution. We're working on that one, but and that covers both African and Asian countries. But more specifically on EIB side, we have just launched it's called Clean Ocean Project Identification and Preparation Program. So it's a large technical assistance program of 6 million euro that covers sub-Saharan Africa. And the aim of this program is actually to try and identify and help prepare for funding a number of projects tackling clean ocean. So that means mainly concerned coastal cities in sub-Saharan Africa. As a matter of fact, I think the consultants are actually listening in today because they were very keen, because Kenya has been identified as one of the countries where we think there is potential to identify some projects. And I personally don't doubt it, especially after hearing already what we have heard about the speakers. So I think for me, it was essentially to say that there is a clear commitment on the EIB side to contribute to the EU policy, to help support the implementation of the EU Green Deal here in Kenya in a very practical manner by offering financing, but also offering project preparation support for projects that would meet the eligibility criteria. So maybe I will not go at length, but what I can do, I can share with the organizer a bit of information that maybe you can then distribute to your network about this initiative. And I think also what I would recommend is that our consultant get in touch with you, Karine, and the team so that they can maybe engage further. I heard our new colleague, the Dutch ambassador, mentioning Close the Gap. And that's also, I think, a very interesting and important initiative that I have also encouraged our consultants to engage with, as well as the WE Center, which we know very well on the EIB side here in Nairobi. So well, I will stop here, but thank you so much, and good luck for all these very exciting discussion. Thank you so much, Karine. Over.
Thanks, Karen. You've got very influential friends. I like this. This is good. It's promising. It's very, very promising indeed. And yes, I have visited the wind farms. It's fun. It's amazing to see. It's really amazing to see what they're able to do. Karine, you said you had, yes, please go on with your introductions, because we have quite a good list of people to go. So Karine, you want to do that?
Yeah, it's amazing. I think we should have blocked the whole day. I would like to invite the ambassador of Finland, Mr. Erik Lundberg, to also share his thoughts for a few minutes.
Thank you, Karin. I hope you can see me. it's a pleasure to get this opportunity to comment here today. I want to thank you for the very inspiring and I think good discussion so far. I was really inspired by this and thought I wanted to share a couple of ideas on from our perspective. And I think two of the key motives or themes that you've discussed today is sharing, and the other one is changing mindset. So Finland was, together, I believe, with the Netherlands, the first countries in the world who adopted a national roadmap for circular economy. We did that already in 2016, and we are actually on our second plan already now. And we've also been active internationally on arranging, for instance, the World Economic Circular Forum in 2017. And our current government has a strategic plan also, like the Netherlands, to convert our economy to completely circular. And I just want to note two of the areas that they're focusing on, because it's so important to involve the whole of society in this work. And education has been mentioned here very many times. We have a pilot now where 70,000 children and young people are, as part of their normal curricula, also being educated in circular economy. The other theme that is very strongly represented in our national strategy is the digitalization and combining that with circular economy. And we have, in fact, also working together with the African Alliance for Circular Economy. We have provided a Finnish expert there, to seconded him there to help with developing this all over the region. And we have also established a special fund for that work. But two or three practical things that I wanted to raise. First of all, we have developed or will be publishing late September a circular economy roadmap guidebook. This is an online publication that shares the experiences and challenges that we've had in developing our own national roadmap. So this will be available for everyone in September, and we hope to get comments and use also this as a forum to discuss with others how to develop such national roadmaps. The other one is a circular economy playbook for companies. This aims at helping businesses to achieve circular advantages and measurable business cases. And this is already available online, so I can share it in the chat box. But I think this discussion today and the interventions by colleagues have shown that we really have a lot to learn from each other. So we are here, both the government together with our EU colleagues, and thank you very much to the Netherlands for arranging this event together with our Kenyan partners. We are here to continue to work with you to develop a more circular world. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for those thoughts, and I think it was very relevant. I'm very happy that everyone still online can experience that sharing we normally do during the conference, sharing, exchanging, learning, getting enough inspiration. And what I would just like to very briefly say is that we not only through our organization and within our website, we will try and gather all the initiatives and all the potential that's out there to really drive the transition towards a circular economy. We will set up a separate platform for that as well. It will be called a Circular Economy Africa platform, where we actually encourage everyone who's doing something in that space to share and to announce events, initiatives, projects, call to action. So that will come up after this event. Now over to you, Tony, and the rest of the program. So we still have a lot to share.
Yes. So I want to show something to those very kindly. I see a lot of you have put your names in. All 132 of us. We've all put letters on our names. So let me show us how to put our names and rename ourselves. I'm just going to show you with my own screen. Some of you may see yourselves on my screen. So when you see, now where has it gone? One moment. I want to show you how to do this. On your, actually, I'll tell you, on your screen, you're currently looking at the Zoom screen. If I'm assuming that you're looking at it right, you're seeing a box of people with names on them. Some have videos, some do not. On your own image, please go to your own image. You will see a mute button, when you put your mouse on your image, you'll see a mute button, and you'll see 3 dots next to the mute button. Now, if you click on those 3 dots, you will see stop video, mute my video, pin video, rename. So what we're asking you to do is rename your actual name. So for example, Eric Miner, you've written that you would like to go to WA. All right, so WA being water, and that's what you're interested in. Well, rename yourself so that, as you can see my name, which is now Tony Ndungu, you just put a hash or a hyphen there, and then you put WA there, and then you click rename. So you see my name has changed to Tony Ndungu WA. So please do that. I see Derriere, you have done that. Rosemary, not yet. Julius has done it, very nice. Eric Lundenberg hasn't done it yet. Julia Matthewman hasn't done it yet. Emily Whiter, I can see you're doing it. Pio, I see you've done it. So you rename your own name. And then once you rename your name, we can get to see which group, which breakout room we put you in. So please rename yourself. And as you get renamed, Ebenezer, who's running the host of the show, will start moving you in. So Wekesa Zablon, please add CN to your name. Alex Kubasu, please add PL to your name. So when you rename yourself this way, I'll say it again, if you put your mouse on your own video, and next to the mute button, you see 3 dots. In the 3 dots, once you click on the 3 dots, you'll see stop video, you'll see mute my video, you'll see pin video, and you will see rename. There's others, edit profile picture below that, and hide self-view. Click on rename, and when you click on rename, your name's gonna show up, and then now just change your name. Now, once your name has been changed, Ebenezer, feel free to put people in the breakout rooms. I'll drop in and out saying hi. Faith Mwema, I don't know if you've done TR to your name. I believe Ebenezer is putting people in rooms, and that is going to help all of us get into rooms and have conversations. So we're going to have short discussions on the topics we've been discussing. You've chosen between waste management, e-waste, plastics, construction, regenerative agriculture, tourism, water, or green manufacturing. So waste is W, e-waste is EW. Actually, I'm going to share this with you so that you can see which one you want to be in, because I know some of you are asking for a reminder. So here it is. That's it. So choose, it's either waste, I'm going to make it up. So you got waste management, which is W, e-waste is EW, plastics is PL, construction is CN, regenerative agriculture is RA, tourism is TR, water is WA, and green manufacturing is GM. I've put for you a translation down there so you can be able to read it. I think we're all fine. So there you go. And then we can get you inside your groups and we can start our breakout sessions. I think, Ebenezer, you're putting people in the groups, correct? If
Yes.
you're on a mobile device, by the way, you can also be able to do it. I know it sounds like you can't, but then I don't have a tablet with me, but you can be able to do it from your tablet. I think Bansi is saying it's a struggle. You can be able to do it. So join in on your breakout rooms, and I will see you once we're out of the breakout rooms. I see people disappearing. This is nice. This is nice. I hope you're all joining your breakout rooms. I'll play some music as we wait.
Hi, if you can hear me, I'll just ask you to rename yourself, because that's what I was using to set you to the groups. Or if you can unmute yourself right now, and I'll just call out your name and you tell me which group you want to join. I'll push you there. We have Anarita. Okay, you can unmute yourself and just tell me which group randomly. Just tell me your name and which group you want to go to.
Augustine Kendujwa West.
Sorry?
Augustine Kendujwa going to West Management.
I didn't hear your first name, sorry, sir.
Augustine Kendujwa.
Augustine.
Kendujwa going to West Management.
Management.
Lydia Kimani.
Lydia Kimani, yes.
Regenerative agriculture.
Sorry?
Regenerative agriculture.
Agriculture, okay.
Yes, thanks.
Felix Osok, green manufacturing.
You can just unmute yourself and tell me the group you want to join.
Lewis Adera West.
Nish Lakani, green manufacturing, please.
Nicole Crozier, plastics.
Frida Gacheri, regenerative agriculture.
Someone else?
Jacinta Mwau, regenerative agriculture.
Yeah, you can go forward. You just call out your name after the person has finished talking.
Evans Omondi, West Management.
Yeah, next. You can just unmute yourself.
James Muyola from Rainforest Alliance, West Management.
Okay. Yeah, next. You can just unmute yourself and just state the group you want to go to. Ehud. What, Sarah? If you can hear me, you can just unmute yourself. Then I'll take you to a group that you want to go to. So we have several groups. We have regenerative agriculture. We have plastics. We have water. We have construction. We have tourism, waste, and we have green manufacturing.
Annarita Spagnolo, plastic, please.
Okay, next person. Feel free to unmute and just tell me where you want me to.
Construction.
Yeah.
Construction. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Next person. Rosemary Wahome. Naftali. Just feel free to unmute and you tell me where you want me to take you. Because I was using the renaming version and all of you here are not renamed. So I'll be happy to assist you if you just unmute and tell me which group you want to join. Like we remain like 12 people, so if you just unmute and tell me where you want me to take you, I'll read out the names of the groups again. We have waste. Yes.
Add me to the regenerative agriculture. Madi, can you add me to the regenerative ag breakout room?
Tumasi is focusing. Huh? What? Tumasi is driven towards the girls.
Hello. We're back, I think. Slowly, slowly we're coming back. Sorry for the abrupt ending of the workshops. Tony?
Yes, I am here. I was
Yeah.
the DJ, so I'm reducing my music. Very nice, very nice, very nice. I hope you all had a good time at the workshop.
We had a very short period, so people are left talking, but
Yeah. Hi, Karen. I've actually been left responding to a question. This is Faith in our plastic session. I've just returned to the main session.
Hi, Karin. This is Eric. Our session in EU started a little bit late and it has ended without much discussion.
I'm very sorry. Yes, I think it's a challenge to actually get everyone into workshops and then have enough time to discuss. I think that was a sort of a trial, and a trial with some errors and a trial with some successes. What we like to promise you is that everyone we know who would like to be in that group, we will send you separate invitations. As we mentioned before, we will organize dedicated workshops around these topics that have a full 2.5 hours to discuss anything and everything related to it. So I'm very sorry for that. We have a bit of, due to that, or actually thanks to a lot of enthusiasm, I think we're running out of time a little bit. So I would like to also invite, we have a couple of more speakers that are not just speaking, but really highlighting good practices we have in the country, we have outside the country, where we can understand what circular economy means. So I would like to actually invite Tony, if we can invite Graham from Lime Catering first, in the highlights of good practices, that might also be a very nice break. Because it's all around food.
Nice. Yes, that's true. I am going to put that up here for everyone to be able to see. And just so you know, yeah, this conversation doesn't have to be happening only here. Get onto the chat if you are in a group. If you feel your group didn't finish, I've even seen some people are starting to do it now. Put your email addresses up there and be like, why don't we have our own side chat, 1 hour thing, without the need of having Karen, Tony, and Ebenezer stopping our conversation. So put your email addresses there, create a small group, send some, share some emails to each other, plan a conversation, do it. I think the point of this is not so that we can do the call inside the session, it's so that we can do the calls outside the session. So meet people, get to know some people. But yes, beetroot and halloumi sliders with chili jam. So we would have loved to give you food, but you know how it is. We can't send you food. It's unhealthy. We can't get together. There's COVID. But we do have somebody who's going to come and talk to you about making something in your house. Graham, where's Graham from Lime Catering to come on here and tell us what's going on, bro? What is happening with this here meal?
Hi there. Well, thank you. Thanks so much. And thanks to all the other speakers. It's been fantastic listening and being involved with all of this. For us, as a catering company, my name is Graham Roy. I'm the head chef and director. We've been involved with Karen for a long time now. And we were fortunate enough that we did the catering last year for them. Unluckily, for us and for everyone, we weren't able to meet, as you said. But at least here we can go through, and I just want to show a small, very simple aspect that when talking with Karen last year, I was describing to her how, as a catering company, we try and be as circular in our energy and in the food industry, and how that actually helps. So it's a very simple recipe. It can be changed to being vegan or vegetarian. There's some small little pointers in here, which really helps with the aspect of food. and in reducing your waste. And I just wanted to pick out a couple of the things here that will just aid in reducing your waste, because as Dr. Ayub Macharia had said before, there's over 6,000 tons of waste per day in Kenya alone, of which more than 60% is organic. And so from that, people go, well, it's only me in the kitchen, or it's only me and my family. It's very small amounts. But every person, it matters. And from that half kilo, 250 grams per day per person is organic waste. If we can use this organic waste opposed to it just going to the landfill, and okay, yeah, biodegrades and therefore is less of an impact, but it's a wastage. And with this, we look at upscaling. So on here, we have our chickpeas, and I've actually, on this one, it's a tin, just so it's simple and it's what people will be able to do. Tin is recyclable. So that's the first thing that obviously goes straight back. Once rinsed and drained, you keep the chickpeas obviously to use in the thing, but the liquid that comes in with it is full of proteins. And people don't understand this. It's not something that actually should be drained and thrown down the sink. If you keep that, along with keeping your raw beetroot when you've peeled it, once you've peeled your beetroot and you keep your chickpeas, the water from it, keeping this and using it in a compost is a very, very simple way of actually reusing and recycling, as opposed to it going into your bin or down your sink and into the ground, where, okay, it'll be used because it's going through your septic system, but it would be better because it's high in protein that you can use it for something else. With Karen, from this simple thing, you can, when it's upscaled and you're upscaling your waste, you move forwards and it creates aspects of energy. So for us as a catering company, we do 2 or 3 different things with our wastage. So the first one we do is, I've got a friend who breeds black soldier flies. And these are now being used as a very high protein alternative for feed. And this is in the fish feed, chicken or pig feed. And it is, instead of using things like the smaller mena from Lake Victoria and the freshwater shrimp, from these things, the fruit fly, from these black soldier flies, they are then producing their larvae, which is then going into the feed. This stops the taking out of massive amounts of energy from Lake Victoria, from the amena and things like that, which are then fed to animals as high-end protein. These black soldier flies are fed from that. And this is something very simple, from a little bit of your peel from your from the beetroot and from the water from the chickpeas. In large scale, it obviously makes a massive difference and it equals a bigger change. But every single person can do and have something. The second thing we do is, if it's not a large enough scale, or it's not quite the right thing for the black soldier flies to be able to process and digest, we have a biodigester. This is a very simple, actually fairly simple aspect, where the food that we have and the waste food we do have and create goes into this biodigester, which in turn produces gas, which we then use in the cooking of the other things. So in that, we end up reusing and recycling our organic waste in that manner to then actually have gas to cook on, as opposed to purchasing it. The other product from that is you end up with fertilizer, liquid fertilizer, which you can then use, which then again goes back to the environment and moves us forward. It's a sustainable and very easy way of doing things. And as Dr. Ayub said, it's, yes, these waste collecting systems and people find it difficult because from most households or from industries or anywhere, the waste is mixed. It is not kept separate. And we find that a very big issue for the waste people find that a very big issue. To then try and separate it costs that much more that it's easier just to put it into landfill. So if it is kept separate, it would then be able to be used in more influential ways, like through the black soldier flies, or into a biodigester, or into specific composters that these bigger companies can then set up. And it's something very simple and very different, but you know, it's an easy recipe which the lack of wastage from it is a fantastic little side difference, and it aids not only because it's vegetarian, but it actually aids in the production of meat and things, but in a sustainable and viable aspect in the circular energy in that. Yeah, thank you very much.
Nice one, Graham. That's really cool. Can I just ask you before you leave, what have you done? Obviously, you know, COVID has affected a lot of companies like yours, and a lot of people have struggled in many ways when it comes to catering and entertainment. What have you done that's different because of COVID?
Yeah.
What have changed?
We've actually, we're now, with no catering, we've had to change and look forward to doing something different. And in that, we're looking at starting our training facility, which we've now started, which means that we're looking at training people to be able to be more sustainable, more this, but also training them in the kitchen. So with cooking courses, with hygiene courses, and things like that, which we've always had and we've always had to do ourselves, but it's never been done so much in everybody's individual homes. And so for us, it's something that I'm passionate about. I've done a lot of in my life, and now it was a push forwards with COVID. There's no catering happening, right? How do we move forwards? How can we be better? How can we change mindsets and things that can then still work for us?
Impressive, man.
Thank you.
Impressive. Very cool. Thanks, Graham. That's super amazing. Karen, we have a Mentimeter thing to happen after one more speaker. Would you like to introduce them?
Yes, I would like to introduce them. We have something very exciting as well, which is regenerative agriculture. And there was a session around it as well, which obviously we had way too little time for. But we have Sven Verwiel. He's a technical director for Leaf Africa, and he would like to share a bit of what they are doing. So although we have little time, this will be just a prelude to kickstart the conversation on regenerative agriculture. And we'd like to invite him later on in the separate webinars again, but he will showcase very briefly what they're working on currently.
Good morning, everyone. Can everyone hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, sorry, I'm on the farm, so the network's not great, so I'm not going to start the video because I think it'll interrupt with the network.
Yeah, your network's already dropping.
Just very briefly, right, because we are practicing it. Yeah, sadly I'm on the farm in a bit of a rural area. Can everyone hear me?
It's cracking, but go ahead, give it a shot. Let's see what happens.
The best shot. Okay, well, so I'm the technical director of Leaf Africa. I'll put our link to our website in the discussions, as well as the senior farm manager for Tamalu Farm. I'll also put a link to our website there. Who are we? Well, Leaf Africa stands for Linking Environment, Agribusiness and Forestry. We're a hybrid agribusiness development partner and solutions provider. Our vision is the integration of farming, nature and business for a prosperous and food secure Africa. I guess our realizing Africa's tropical agriculture potential through local expertise and our international experience. So we're really trying to kickstart this regenerative ag revolution in Kenya and beyond. Basically, I think because the time is very brief, I don't want to bore people with too much stuff, but basically we've got 3 pilot projects up here in Timau, and we're looking at scaling across the entire country. So if anyone wants to get in touch, or perhaps I could get into a bit more detail on the side panels, but we certainly believe that the future of African agriculture lies in the regenerative integrated land use management with closed loop nutrient cycles. I think probably regenerative ag is the most suitable form of agriculture when it comes to a circular economy, because that's what it's all based on in the first place. We currently also, on one of our farms here in Timau, Once again, I will share more info on how you can find out more about that in the chat. And yeah, like I say, very excited about this movement. Globally, it's also moving at a better pace than it was 10 years ago. So we are making headway, and yeah, it's totally possible. And I hope to see the rest of the continent pick this up as we go into the future. Thank you very much, everyone.
Nice one, Sven. Thank you so much. I know you're in the, hey, it's very nice to hear you from the Shamba. It feels like there's Shamba vibe where you're at. Please do share your information on the chat. And everyone else, by the way, do share your information on the chat. Put email addresses there. I see Julius has done the same thing. Let me see, Thomas is there. He's done one. There's a couple other people. I see Kahio has done it. Yes, share your information on the chat. Put your emails there. And then look at the chat. When we're done, we're also going to download this and then send it out to those who send Ebenezer an email so that you can be able to reach out to people here. But put your information here, outline some interests you have. Let me see here. There's Peter Manyara. If you're a company interested in understanding and addressing plastic leakages across your value chain, this is products, geographies, corporate level, please feel free to reach out on applying the plastics leak PLP tool. Is put a link over there to quantis-international.com. Go ahead, do that, people, do that. We're very many. There's 91 folks. So do that over there so people can get to see you and know what's going on. Okay, now we're going to get into Mentimeter. Ebenezer, are we ready to do this? This is a very simple piece. Pull out your phone is what I'm going to ask you to do. If you have a phone, that also works really well.
Ebenezer, Tony.
Yeah.
Sorry,
yes.
Tony, just a quick one. Can we run while people are logging in to Mentimeter, because we're running out of time a bit? Can we log in and then watch the video, because we have some really great innovations we want to showcase?
That's true. Actually, we could do that. So we're going to do two things. I'm going to tell you what to do as you watch something I'm doing. So I'm very good at multitasking. I will do this. The video is here. All right. So what you do is pull out your phone and open up a browser window. And the browser window you're opening up is menti.com. So it's MENTI. I know this in airline speak. M is for mango, E is for echo. I'm making this up as I go. N is for Nairobi, T is for technique, and I is for India. So menti.com. Open up menti.com on your phone browser. And then after this video, I will tell you what to do. The video is very nice. I've watched it over and over again. It's quite cool. You will like it. And put off my subtitles. Here we go.
Yeah. Dandora music artist.
Yeah. I wish you could hear me. I wish you could take the situation seriously. I wonder why we pretend not to dare plant trees. The small seeds, that's the ones who make the world go green. Yeah, get it loud and clearly. Every day I wonder why to make a change is really. Even if we make, doesn't make sense gradually. Yeah, doesn't make sense gradually.
Green for trees, blue for skies, yellow for sun. Together we can make these colors shine. Together we can make Mother Earth to smile. Green for trees, blue for skies, yellow for sun. Together we can make these colors shine. Together we can make Mother Earth to smile.
Hungry people destroy our trees in our places. Drinking dirty water leads us to many diseases. Children die because of disease like tuberculosis. No rain because of improper conservation. No food, why is the whole country ending in starvation? Speaking the good news because we are the new generation.
Everywhere pollution, the air that you breathe is filled with dust, affecting our lands. Water is all dumps, invested our parent investment, not medical bills and improper skills. As the pollution increase, our lives are risky. The streets, every eye is shaded with tears. Should that is said it loud and clear. Our future is built on our past and the present is here. Hope Mother Earth will hear. Our people are filled with stress and fear. This shows that the end of the world is near. I'm asking this question, where is the shed? I'm asking this question, where is the shed? Where is the shed?
Hey, 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 hey. It's a climate climate change. Hey, 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 hey. It's a global warming. Hey, 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 hey. It's a climate change. Hey, 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 hey. Climate change is real.
Green for trees, blue for skies, yellow for sun. Together we can make these colors shine. Together we can make Mother Earth to smile. Green for trees, blue for skies, yellow for sun. Together we can make these colors shine. Together we can make Mother Earth to smile.
Nice, very nice. Okay, so now I'm going to show you something else just as we look. Menti.com, I'm still not seeing very many of you in there, so I'm waiting for you to join. Please do, but in the meantime, something else for you to be able to see. This one. There we go. Just make sure it's the right one again.
We live in a world with finite materials.
We are throwing an awful lot of electronics, plastic food, carpets, clothing away. It's a waste of precious materials.
If we could build an economy that would use things rather than use them up, we could build a future that really could work in the long term.
You design the product in a way that
Can be taken apart once the consumer has finished using them.
you remanufacture it and give it out again. You can reduce your production costs hugely if applied correctly.
Instead of garments ending up in landfill, companies can repurpose it, reuse it, making profit out of their waste.
We take some resources from nature and bring it back in the form of nutrients. It's very much a natural cycle.
We use 70% less water than conventional agricultural methods.
Our packaging is not a waste, it's something that we can consume and eat.
We redesign everyday products to make them fully recyclable.
We farm as close to nature as is possible.
The H&M Group has set ambitious targets to use 100% sustainably sourced materials.
There is a lot of conversation about not buying clothes, but different models where you can rent clothing.
We develop fully modular headphones that we offer on a subscription basis. The circular economy itself is inevitable in my view.
It's not one fix, it's about the entire system being redesigned.
This is, to me, the only way to fight climate change, to fight pollution, to fight waste.
This is a business model that stacks up.
Global companies cannot survive in the future without transitioning towards a circular economy. That is a really exciting future.
That's by the Ellen MacArthur Foundation. This is really good stuff. It's very impressive what they've done, what they managed to get done. Now, I want us to get, Ebenezer, do you have another video on the show before we get into this thing and get everyone involved? By the way, there are prizes for you. It's good to know that there are prizes for you. So those who are able to participate and do well, you get prizes. I've seen the bags, they're nice. Okay, Ebenezer, are you starting a video or shall we jump into Mentimeter?
Let me start the video.
All right.
Yes.
Yeah, so thank you so much. I guess most of you are on Mentimeter, trying to fill in the questions that are there. We'll finish off with the first slide. Tony, are you still there?
I am. I'm on Menti as well. People are asking for the Menti code. It's 8931585. Again, what do? You open your browser on your mobile device. You go to MENTI, which is menti.com. It'll bring you a screen asking, please enter code. The code is 8931. I don't know if you've seen that. 8931. Excuse me. 585. 585. 8931585. You click on submit. It will take you to a section. You should see a screen much like the one that was on the screen a moment ago. It basically has some artwork, sustainable, inclusive economies there. You see short answers are recommended. You have 250 characters left. So I think, Ebenezer, you're going to show us the screen. So what this does, just so you all know, is it allows us to give real-time responses to questions that we have. So we're going to have a number of questions that I told you, there are games in there. We're giving away 2 bags. You'll be able to see, as you're seeing on Ebenezer's screen right now, the questions that we have is going to blow up that screen and you'll be able to see what people are responding to. Those are your responses. Very, very nice. Very, very nice. Put something in there. So whenever you answer, we'll be able to see real time what it is you're answering. Now, a question is going to show up. What has been the biggest change? I think I'm on the right side. What is your opinion essential to build back better? That is on your phone. Please enter scroll or post. To scroll is not something you should think about. Just put an answer in there. What is, in your opinion, essential to build back better? Once you put in your word, you click on submit and it shows up on screen. Somebody's got nature, collaboration is mine. That's what I put. I'm going to, don't cheat, don't take my word, put your own word and text it up there. Let's see who else has something to say. Lifestyle and behavior change, rethinking our designs. I like that one. Planning, this is true. We need to plan, we do need to plan. For future generations, that's what we're doing it for. Consumer awareness and behavioral change, I like that one. Balanced economic growth with social inclusion and environmental protection. Yes, collaboration again, going circular, better ideas. We can do it, I believe we can. And as I mentioned, sharing your email addresses and having communications with people, conversations with people in this group is going to be very useful. Requires to be informed by data and sound science, this is right. Going circular, political commitment in long-term sustainability and profit. Requirements to be informed by data and sound science. This is very good. Keep going. Let's see what else we have there. Nice. Context-specific measures rather than blanket. This is true, it has to be specific. Teaching our children and community members to view waste as a resource. That's huge, by the way. That's very, very big, doing that. Don't restrict policy space to implement circular ecology by agreeing on restrictive trade rules. This is whether it's WTO or the US. Consumer awareness and behavioral change. This is very nice. I like this. So there's clarity on what we need to do. Requires to be informed by data and sound science. We've mentioned that. Rethinking sustainability as collective individual action. That is extremely important. I, for example, don't buy single plastic water. I use a single water bottle. I fill my water and I go around with my own bottle and I don't have to spend money on plastic bottles. Everyone has got something to say. Nice one. Ebenezer, shall we go on to the next one? I like this. Don't just put them here, keep them in your minds and let's do this. Let's use them for ourselves. Okay, what do we have here? What would you like to keep post-COVID? What would you like to keep post-COVID? What would you like to keep post-COVID? We have 1 person, 2 people have submitted an answer there. This is nice, I like it. 3 people have put in answers, 5 now. 6 people have put in answers, 11, this is nice, okay. People have said COVID is stressful. There's a new culture that has come into the game. People are working from home, we're doing a conference online. Has this been a benefit? Has this been detrimental? Are you finding yourself more productive, less productive? How is it for your mental health, your physical health, your finances? Let's talk about that. 14 people have put in their feedback. Ebenezer, let's see what people are saying. Oh, we missed that.
I think we just missed that. So what we'll do, Tony, is that you'll have the opportunity to select 2 people that will give the bags that we have based on the questions that people have been answering. But for now, I think time is not on our side. We are past.
This is so sad. We're past our deadline. It's supposed to be 11:30.
Yes.
Let's push this for a bit. I know people have places to go. I appreciate that. Let's push this for a bit, finish it, and then at the end of this, we're going to give people awards. Is that all right? But is everyone okay with that? That's the beauty of online events, is we're not holding you in the room. We were 91, we're now 70. A couple have left because they have things to do, which is understandable. Ebenezer, let's push this a little bit. We have 32 people who have commented. Let's go for another maybe 10 minutes, finish this off, and then we can be able to give the gifts after. Is that okay with you, Ebenezer?
Yeah, so we can do one more question and then we drop it off.
I think that's good. Okay. So we have another question here. I see those 32 answers. We're going to get back to those. A system change is needed. Small adjustments won't work. Small adjustments will not work. Do you agree? 12 of the 13 answers said yes. 12 of the 13 answers said yes. 18 have said yes, a small change is needed. Small adjustments won't work. 3 have said no, which is interesting. 3 people have actually said no. They think small adjustments will work. I'm assuming those are government and policy individuals for sure, because we know that it takes some time for these to turn from good ideas into policy, passing through places like parliament and conversations. So there's more no's, but very many yeses. 24 think yes, 25 are thinking yes, 6 are thinking no, 7 are thinking no. This is good. I see this. This balance is an interesting balance. It's 2/3 by 1/3. A system change is needed. We all agree a system change is needed. And what we're wondering is, would small adjustments work, or are we thinking of big adjustments? This is nice. I like that. Ebenezer, I think we have our numbers there. 70% are saying yes. 30% are saying no. We should take it slower. Stefan says, we should not attempt to build back better, but to build forward better. That's a nice one. So it's not what was that should become what is. It should be something brand new that should become what is. I like that. That's a good point, Stefan. I see it. Okay, 35 responses. Ebenezer, shall we do I think the next question, you said this was the last one, the next one is the last one. Which is the next, which is the last one? This is the last one. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, this is the last question. What is a circular economy about? What is a circular economy? Is it about design out waste and pollution? Is it keep products and materials in use? Is it regenerate a national system? Is it all of the above? Which is it? Design out waste and pollution, keep products and materials in use, regenerate natural systems, or is it all of the above? If this was a physical exercise, we would ask you to form groups. I can see that group over there of all of the above would have almost everyone. The keep products and materials in use would have 2 people. The design out waste and pollution would have 1 person who would be very lonely. And then the regenerate national system would have no one. So let's see, where would we go? 33 people have responded. And those are the answers. Regenerate national system became, somebody just went there. They felt like that was a lonely place, so they went. Well, the answer is pretty straightforward, ladies and gentlemen. The answer is all of the above. We're trying to design out waste and pollution. We definitely want to keep products and materials in use. So like bamboo toothpastes, toothbrushes, for example, reusing plastic, as you saw in the video that Ebenezer played. And then we're also trying to regenerate natural systems. How can we be able to make sure, for example, ecologically friendly tourism, where going to see wild animals like I am right now isn't costing the wild animals nature, and at the same time is allowing me to be able to engage with them and interact with them. So it's all of the above. And a bamboo toothpaste is nice, Stefan. I have one. It's very nice. It doesn't last very long. They need to do a better job, but it's nice. It's nice to have a bamboo toothpaste. Okay, toothbrush, not toothpaste, toothbrush. Stefan's toothbrush. All right, Ebenezer, I think we are done here.
Yes, we are.
I would like to invite Karen to close us off. Thank you so much again, everyone who showed up for the conversation. We really appreciate having all of you. We had your whole morning. You shared it with us this Friday, and I'm very grateful to be here. It was fun hosting all of you. I hope you learned something. I do hope you shared those email addresses and you got to meet somebody you don't know. And I look forward to, excuse me, I look forward to seeing what happens after this conversation is done. Let's look, Karen's already on the move. She's going for our first meeting based on this conference. Karen, You want to close this off?
I am going to close you off. I'm sorry. I am on the move. Yes, something I had to also attend. I would actually really like to thank everyone. I have been really grateful that so many people have joined. I think we have started the conversation. We actually now are aware how much enthusiasm there is on all kinds of level, government, the EU, local governments, but also the private sector, innovations, small, big. We have the vision, we have the appetite to actually start this journey together. So I really would like to thank everyone. And I want to be very, very clear again that this is just the start. And we make sure that we will create the platform so that we can keep on engaging, that we can keep on sharing, and that we bring everything together, and that we collectively drive a transition towards a circular economy. All because we need to be all in, and we need to be all together in this. So thank you very much again for your time, your engagement, and we keep on chatting and communicating. Thank you.
Nice, Karen. Thank you so much for that, for hosting the event. It's very nice to have all of you in. So what we're going to do is, feel free now that the conference is over, feel free to leave. Before you do, put your email address on the Zoom group chat. Ebenezer and I will be the last people to leave the room. So we're not going to close this room. We're going to allow you to put your email on the group chat. What we'll do is, after the conference is over, we'll collect all your email addresses and we'll send one big email to all of you with the presentations that we have. And we'll also put in that email the list of all the other people who are in the conference. And then if there's somebody specifically you'd like to have an interest in, please reach out to them. So what I propose is, don't just put your email blankly. If you have something specific in mind that you want people to talk about, like Grace Shege from oxygen.co.ke, if you do PR and you want somebody to think through PR, add to your email address. I'm Grace, we're in PR and we're looking for this and that, or I'm Grace, we're in PR and we're looking to support so and so. So put your email addresses there. As I said, Ebenezer and I will wait until everyone has put their email addresses and you've left. We'll be the last two people to leave the room. Then we'll compile this Zoom group chat notes. We'll send everyone an email in a group conversation. We'll add all our presentations in there. And if you want to reach to somebody, you can always email the group and ask, is anybody interested in this, or is anybody doing this, or would you like to engage with Leslie in this and that, or would you like to talk to Silas of Brandcom? And then people can reach out to you through that. So I'm going to play some music as you do, but feel free to leave. Thank you again so much for coming for the conference. We really appreciate having you here. And I hope you have a great weekend and get to meet your own wild animal like I am. Take care, everyone.
I this way? Oh, my baby, if you make it move it. Your love is blind, 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 blind. Blind, 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 blind. Your love is blind, 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 blind. ngibonga wena nangempilo angipayona sikhala sakho sohleze sikhona mengilale ebusuku ngibonga wena nalethubo nginika lona kusasa lami ngiyathemba khona ungisilele noma sengilahliwe bo ungisilele noma sekunzima bo ungisilele noma ngilahlekile bo ungisilele noma sengonile bo ungisilele noma sekunjani bo ungisilele noma sengihlaselwa bo ungisilele
Hi, Tony. Mr. Tony. Hello, Tony.
I'm saying finally people have left.
I was removing them.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, because no one was leaving. Yeah, there were like 12 people.
Cute. Okay, now we
I think
can
now we
stop.
can
We
we
can
can stop.
stop live streaming.
Yeah.